Hey friends and family, hey loved ones, hey alchemists and magicians and gardeners and fools, hey big old fools and lovable goobers, how are you doing? So, yeah, I'm embracing my lovable goober today and all that I am. And I just wanted to share some fun things that I've been looking at, looking into, and discovering for me, and all this magic and creativity and possibility. And it has a lot to do with light, color, vibration, electricity, frequency, sound, yeah, all these things, creation. And so, yeah, I'm just doing my thing, learning um, my activities of daily living and being me. Yeah, my alchemical play practice and becoming all of me and knowing who I am and loving all of me. Mastery, self-mastery, mastery of me. Mastery so I can be in harmony with me, we. So, yeah, I've been doing a cleanup process and I'd say enjoying it, but some of it hasn't been like, I don't know, my favorite thing, but it's been exactly what I needed. Yeah, it's just like getting out of my own way. So doing my best to be with that and to be with me. And so this week I've been learning more about color because obviously, like with all my art and just intuition and just creativity, I've been working with color a lot, like the last couple of years, and since I've been painting and stuff. And yeah, I found some little booklets in like one of my boxes that I went through. And so I've been looking at color, and I did share about blue a couple days ago. And yeah, I was nudged like last month, you need no more blue in your life right now, you know? And so I actually bought some lapis stones. There's a pretty one. Let me see that. Like, yeah, how cool is that one? There's like gray on that side and then blue and white and different shades in there. But I also got raw lapis. I don't know if you can see that very well. But yeah. So, yeah, blue and turquoise. And yeah, obviously turquoise today. So, and I also have been working with yellow. So for my Luansaw circle, I gave out citrine. This is the citrine yellow, like a golden yellow, and the lapis, the polished and raw lapis. So I've been looking at that, and also like, yeah, I've noticed in my paintings, you know, like I just been using a lot of blues and yellows and whites and things like that together. And so I just figured, hey, like I'm really digging like the golden yellows right now. What's that about? And I found these. And so, chapter 8, yellow. And color and the Edgar Casey readings by Roger Lewis. So yellow. In the readings, the vibratory wavelength we call yellow is associated with the adrenal glands, the church Pergamos, the planet Mars, and debts in the Lord's Prayer. Edgar Casey in Auras wrote, when it is golden yellow, it indicates health and well-being. Such people take good care of themselves, don't worry, and they learn easily. Good mentality is natural to them. They are happy, friendly, and helpful. If the yellow is ruddy, they are timid. If they are redheads, they are apt to have an inferiority complex. They are thus apt often to be indecisive and weak in will, inclined to let others lead them. It is interesting to note that the outer 3/4 of the adrenal gland, the part forming the cortex or rind, is deep yellow in color. The medulla or central core is dark red. It is also interesting to note that the Casey readings tell us that the adrenal gland or solar plexus is yellow in its normal state, but becomes red when opened in meditation. Situated in front of and slightly above the upper pole of each kidney, the two adrenal or suprarenal glands are small, flat, cup-shaped bodies. The cortex, quite essential to life, secretes hormones which play indispensable regulatory roles. Of these, the sugar hormones regulate metabolism, particularly the burning of glucose sugar. The salt hormones, on the other hand, maintain the mineral balance, mainly between sodium and potassium, and govern the content of water in the body. Adrenaline and non-adrenaline are two hormones secreted by the medulla or central core of the adrenal glands. It is through these hormones that the rate and power of the heartbeat is stepped up and blood vessels are constricted to raise the blood pressure. Both the cortex and the medulla perform interrelated functions which cause the body to react to the stress of injury, infection, temperature extremes, or psychic strain. The defenses against infection are lowered when the body is fatigued. Thus it is evident that this is the center wherein our fears are emphasized, where our guilt complexes are made known. Dirty yellow in this area reflects cowardice, while bright yellow indicates a willingness to call upon the inner being to display the red badge of courage. The readings refer to this center as the gland of the solar plexus. So I thought that was interesting about yellow in the Edgar Casey readings. And so the readings refer to the center as the gland of the solar plexus. Then there becomes the first indication of individuality being established in that movement which has come about in its growth, its evolvement, or the gland of the solar plexus, or that ye misinterpret and call the adrenals, as they act with the emotions and the growth and unfoldment of the body itself. The misuse of the energies received through the yellow wavelength can result in the loss of unregenerate cells through emotional upset, ulcers, metabolism, and mineral imbalance, fears, and lack of purpose. The positive use of bright yellow can lead to the regeneration of cells and perfect emotional harmony. Medical science has determined that 3 groups of sex hormones are found in the cortex of the adrenal glands, and that these seem to bear the same function as the sex hormones secreted by the cells of Leydig. In reading 28153, there is an indication that the life force moves from the Leiden center to the solar plexus in the growth process. The following statement was given to Casey to be verified in a reading. The life force crosses the solar plexus each time it passes to another center. In growth, yes. In meditation, yes and no. If there remains the balance as of the attunement, yes. You see what takes place in the developing body or in life growth, which we have used as the demonstration or have illustrated, may be different from that which takes place as one attempts to meditate and to distribute the life force in order to aid another, or to control the influence as in healing, or to attain to an attunement in self for a deeper or better understanding. These questions or statements are such that they will be confusing to some, but if they are asked properly, there will not be confusion. So, if Mars, as the astrologers say, is the planet of energy or sex, we might speculate that yellow is the color of energy or sex. For the readings tell us that Mars is the planet associated with the solar plexus. Consequently, we can assign to yellow the positive traits of creativeness, inventiveness, constructivity, endless energy, forcefulness, powerfulness, courage, self-confidence, and strength of character, as well as the negative traits of strife, pugnacity, self-assertiveness, and anger. Although Mars is generally referred to as the red planet, it is interesting to note that physically its associated gland is both yellow and red, and that the combination of these two colors, orange, is the color associated with the Leiden center. No wonder, then, that Mars is referred to as the planet of energy, sex, creativity, or even of frustration. Could it be that a decided preference for yellow would indicate that a person has learned his lessons from a sojourn in the influence of Mars and has overcome the selfish urges of anger and aggression? Or is this mastery only achieved when the entity goes deeper inward to the red of the adrenal's core in the meditative process? Yeah, so I'll just leave it there about yellow. And anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting, and I loved reading about blue the other day because blue has always been my favorite color, my favorite shades. So I picked up this book last night, and I flipped open to red, and then I read about yellow and green and blue. And so this one for yellow, Auras by Edgar Casey. Yellow. Yellow is the second primary color. When it is golden yellow, it indicates health and well-being. Such people take good care of themselves. They don't worry. They learn easily. Good mentality is natural in them. They are happy, friendly, and helpful. If the yellow is ready, they are timid. If they are redheads, yeah, that's exactly what I just read. So in the musical scale, the note mi corresponds to yellow, and Mercury is the planet of this color. So it's interesting that Mars, and Mercury can correspond to the color yellow. And I was also reading about how in this Astrology Alive book, how yellow was connected to air signs. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, like kind of like seeing certain things, through the interchangeability, and corresponding qualities for all these things, and it's very interesting. So let's read a little bit about blue. So blue has always been the color of the spirit, the symbol of contemplation, prayer, and heaven. The sky is blue because gas molecules in the air cause light rays from the sun to be scattered. This is the scientific explanation, but as I have mentioned before, blue is said to be the true color of the sun, and it is also the color of the planet Jupiter, which is the ruler of great thoughts and high-mindedness. Almost any kind of blue is good, but the deeper shades are the best. Pale blue indicates little depth, but a struggle toward maturity. The person may not be talented, but he tries. He will have many heartaches and many headaches, but he will keep going in the right direction. The middle blue, or aqua, belongs to a person who will work harder and get more done than the fellow with light blue, though there may be little difference between them in talent. Those with the deep blue have found their work and are immersed in it. They are apt to be moody and are almost always unusual persons, but they have a mission and they steadfastly go about fulfilling it. They are spiritual-minded for the most part, and their life is usually dedicated to an unselfish cause such as science, art, or social service. I have seen many Sisters of Mercy with this dark blue and many writers and singers also. The musical note of blue is soul and is the early church, the color was assigned to the highest attainments of the soul. So I thought that was kind of fun too. And then there was some really interesting things also about color and the aura, and how we can work with colors to correct certain imbalances. And so I have been looking at like some of those cool things, and it is amazing, like to me, like these, so the light, the color, and the frequencies and the vibrations and in harmony, like in harmonizing with the creative forces for our growth and healing and discovery. So that's so fun for me to receive today. And I just want to share a couple paintings as well. Because like art and play and creativity and symbols and symbolic play like can be so healing for us in so many ways. And just for fun, really, and learning as well. So this is something that I did I don't know, a couple summers ago, just for fun. I didn't even know what it was going to be. I had no idea, but this is just what it unfolded and came through me. And so it's not like a grand piece of art or anything, but it was just like kind of something fun for me to work on. It was around summer solstice one year, and then I looked at the swastika, and again, because this is just like a great example of how preconceived notions or how we can interpret things. Symbols have been used in lots of ways to influence like ideas and ways of thinking and being. And so the swastika, is known for its part it played with the Third Reich and all of that. But like it's a much, much, much more ancient symbol than that. And so it's kind of interesting how symbols and how certain things have been hijacked and used for other purposes, because it is a big influence on our psyches, whether we're aware of that or not. And so swastika is from the Sanskrit word swasti, which means so be it, or well-being. And so, yeah, I've written a lot about that in the past, but I encourage you to do your own looking around that. And yeah, it's quite a significant symbol, actually, and it is like another symbol for the solar wheel, for the wheel, or continuous motion and continual energy, and yeah, never infinite energy flows. And the four points on the four arms, yeah, and the center, the fifth, the quintessence, yeah. So that's very interesting, and I just like the mandala and the colors in it. I've never used I've never been shy about using gold, like really. I've always had like more of a preference for silver though, but in the last couple of years I've really like opened up to this yellow and red and orange. So yeah, that felt really right. And a couple years ago I took an intuitive painting class, and yeah, it was really awesome and interesting, where it was just like you just let like this creativity flow through you, and so this was the first thing that I did, and I had no idea what it was going to be. It was just like, I don't know, I'm just coloring lines of color right now, and these are the colors that I want. But I had no idea like that it was going to be some kind of an interesting pattern. I just, yeah, was just led and was just using my intuition. I didn't know what I was doing. People were asking me, oh, that's cool, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know. So this is what came out of that. Like, and it does look like it's energy flowing in certain patterns. And then in the center, like, I don't know, like that's just wanted to be there. But it reminds me of the turtle, and it reminds me of a star. And yeah, it's just interesting as well. And there's the spiral and a golden spiral inside. The red, the gold, and the white, and then the aqua and the blue. So yeah, that was just kind of fun how it came through. And then the second painting that I did was of a goddess, and I love her. Maybe I'll share her with you guys next time. But there's a lot of hidden symbols in that one too, like a lot of obvious symbols that can be seen on the surface, but there's also symbols that are hidden in plain sight. And I actually didn't realize some of the symbols that were in there that I hid from myself, that like from my higher mind. So it was great. And this was the third one, so they all had like this blue and this aqua, or this turquoise and gold in it. And so this one was another one that I did, and I just had like lots of fun with that, and like, yeah, I just wanted to be what it got to be. And so yeah, they kind of are a series, and so that was when it was like, yeah, some of these symbols get to be reclaimed. And this is something that I did a couple years ago. It was a mixed media, so yeah, it's a work in progress, and I never feel like it's really complete or never finished, because I feel like it's always like, yeah, there's always room to green, and it's like, yeah, just kind of helping me be at peace that sometimes there's just going to be unfinished progress or unfinished projects, and that it's enough as it is. And yeah, maybe just to let them be, like, always, like, yeah, that work in progress, and let go of what I think it needs to be. Just let it be as it is. So yeah, I had lots of fun with this one. I don't know if you can see like some of the iridescence and stuff, but I did use different blues and greens and purples and stuff, and just with acrylic paint in there, and kind of like mosaic-ish. And was doing my best to create a silver mirror with the gold and the white around it, with this mosaic of Mary, and then at the bottom, like, looking into herself, the vessel and the fruit, and yeah, the container. Yeah. And I just, like, yeah, wanted to leave white around her, and now I see, like, oh yeah, that was like, that's just her glowing aura, and like all of that. So yeah, just wanted to share a couple of art pieces, art, play, and creativity. So just for fun and just for me. Like, it doesn't have to be good enough for anybody else, and I'm glad I gave myself that permission just to express my creative ways of being, like through my own creativity, and just being willing to play with it and explore, and experiment. So, that said, I have one little thing to share in Astrology Alive. Barbara Shermer, and this is something I came across the other day that I read that I put a bookmark in, and my bookmark says Earth, darkness, mystery, the unknown, source, secrecy, the unenlightened state, or potential, and the primal force, fertility and substance, the fertile dark, forces that can be accessed. And that's for the alchemical spread, for the tarot. So, contributions of Jungian psychology in astrology. To introduce astrology into a discussion of Jung is no imposition upon the great psychologist. He spoke often and favorably of the astrologer's art. In his many writings, Jung emphasized that astrology was a map of the psyche that included the sum total of all ancient psychological knowledge, describing both the innate predisposition of an individual personality as well as providing an accurate way of timing life crises. Timing the life crises. Because of their relevance to experiential astrology, these Jungian ideas demand attention. The process of individuation, concepts of wholeness and polarity, the model of the psyche with its conscious, personal, unconscious, and collective unconscious levels, and the theories of archetypes. Also central in Jung's thought is mythology as the key for understanding the human mind. In Jung's view, we each begin life in a state of undifferentiated wholeness. As we mature, we emerge from the cosmic womb of the unconscious, evolving into increasingly complex structures capable of expressing ourselves in more refined and elaborate ways. This is the process of individuation. First to appear is a fundamental polarity, and Jung states the psyche consists of two incongruous halves that should properly make a whole together, but consciousness and the unconscious do not make a whole when either is suppressed or damaged by the other. If they must contend, let it be a fair fight with the equal right on both sides. Both are aspects of life. Let the consciousness defend its reason and its self-protective ways, and let the chaotic life of the unconscious be given a fair chance to have its own way as much of it as we can stand. This means at once open conflict and open collaboration. It is the old play of hammer and anvil. The suffering iron between them will in the end be shaped into an unbreakable whole, the individual. Thus, individuation is the result of the continual integration of consciousness and the unconscious, and human growth proceeds by organizing separate elements into a complex whole. Astrology, no less than Jung, incorporates ancient notions of wholeness and polarity. The astrological chart itself represents the whole of an individual personality. It is composed of two halves, one that represents the conscious, solar, active, masculine day side of consciousness, and the other, the unconscious, lunar, passive, feminine, night side. As Jung's discourse often centers upon the interaction of paired opposites, i.e. conscious, unconscious, thinking, feeling, sensation, intuition, anima, animus, or animus, anima, so does the chart consist of polarities of similar explanatory power, pairs of opposites, of signs, Taurus and Scorpio, of houses, 2nd and 8th, of archetypes, Venus and Mars, and even the most left-brained of astrological consultations has the result of bringing what was unknown into consciousness, thus proceeding towards individuation as Jung describes it. Experiential astrology is intended to extend this result and to promote the open conflict and open collaboration between consciousness and the unconscious, and to which Jung refers. In 1909, Jung had an extraordinary dream which crystallized his theory that the psyche is composed of three distinct but interacting systems or levels, a conscious mind and an unconscious one that consists of two parts, the personal and the collective unconscious. The dream led ultimately to the publication of Jung's seminal work, Symbols of Transformation. Joseph Campbell summarizes the themes of this great effort. The essential realizations were, first, that since the archetypes are or norms of myth are common to the human species, they are inherently expressive neither of local social circumstances nor of any individual's singular experiences, but of common human needs, instincts, and potentials. Second, that in the tradition of any specific folk, local circumstance will have provided the imagery through which the archetypal themes are displayed in the supporting myths of the culture. Third, that if the manner of life and thought of an individual so departs from the norms of the species that a pathological state of imbalance ensues, of neurosis or psychosis, dreams and fantasies analogous to fragmented myths will appear. And fourth, that such dreams are best interpreted not by reference backward to repressed infantile memories, reduction to autobiography, but by comparison outward with the analogous mythic forms, amplification to mythology, so that the disturbed individual may learn to see himself depersonalized in the mirror of the human spirit and discover by analogy the way to his own larger fulfillment. I thought that was, pretty cool. Pretty cool to read and to see. And I have super loved and enjoyed what I've read of this book so far. And super grateful and glad for the cleanup process. And for all of this, for the mess and the yes. And one more thing that I found in my box of treasures. This was in a box that I had found with some birthday cards and some old keepsakes and sentimental things. And it was from a Reiki class that I took in 2007. And Spiritual Precepts of Reiki. I liked this, so I thought I'd share it. Just for today, be not fearful. Just for today, be not consumed in anger. Walk your path in kindness to self and others. Be diligent in your responsibilities. Walk your life in gratitude and humility. Namaste. I honor the place in you which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Just for today, do not worry. Just for today, do not anger. Honor your parents, teachers, and elders. Just for today, do your work honestly. Show gratitude to everything that has life. Namaste. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. We are one. We are one. Yes. The law of one. And so that brings me to my last thing with the GSF behavior and alchemy. And that is from Lisa Renee on energetic synthesis. I had shared this a couple of weeks ago. And the one thing that I did leave out and that, I noticed I've had an aversion to sharing about. So I'm going to share it now. So one of these GSF behaviors is autonomy or sovereignty. So what she writes about this is to achieve a strong foundation within the spiritual self is to become confident in facing life decisions and making choices supported as a self-governed and spiritually motivated individual. With self-autonomy, we do not need to manipulate or control others. Within the world context, it is the capacity of a clear individual to make an informed, uncoerced decision. God's source engenders the knowledge and growth to achieve spiritual autonomy when in partnership with divine will and service. God is your partner in love and parent in life. Amen to that. And that's how I feel right now. Yes, I'm in partnership with God. And yes, and I'm so grateful for the divine parents and for all the love we are and that we get to share and that we get to be. And that we get to experience and create, for we create through being and becoming all we be. So, just wanted to share just a couple of those gems and nuggets and things that I had found. And yeah, they have been helping. And it's just like, wow, everything that's coming in right now. And the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, terrible, and amazing. And all around. All within and all around. Yeah. The wheel keeps turning. Yes, indeed. So what do we get to do, and what do we get to choose, and who do we get to be? So claim your own choices and your own free will, and know that it's yours, and it's yours to wield. Like, it's your power. It's your choice. And it's your energy. So what are you creating? And what are you creating today? Like, who do you get to be? And how does that feel? And is that free? Is that for you, or is it for someone else? Yeah. Is it playing into, slavery? Or is it helping to create, like, freedom and more possibility? So I'll just leave you with that. Food for thought. Okay, love you all. Hope you're being love for yourself, and hope you're feeling well. Okay, talk to you. Bye for now.